Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I've had this one for a bit. I didn't want to rush and make a video, but I also don't really need 20 minutes to cover it, so here's a quick take that took a while to get to. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this great discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Alright, enough talk, let's get right into it.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer was genuinely shocked at the value offered by this laser printer, calling it one of the best budget feature-packed options available. It includes capabilities like wireless connectivity and automatic double-sided printing, which are often found on more expensive models. However, this great value comes with a significant catch. Our reviewer found the initial setup process to be unintuitive and frustratingly complex. To get the wireless printing to function, one cannot simply turn the machine on and connect to a network. The process requires physically connecting the printer to a computer with a traditional USB cable first. For those with newer laptops that only have USB-C ports, this means an adapter is necessary. Once connected, our reviewer had to navigate to the manufacturer's support website to download a special network configuration tool. This tool is used to find your home Wi-Fi and input the password, effectively getting the printer onto the network. Even after that, the work wasn't over. A separate driver installation was required. For this client who was working on a Mac, the printer didn't automatically appear as an available device. The crucial step was to find the printer's unique IP address by looking at the list of connected devices on their router's administration page. They then had to manually add the printer in their computer settings, inputting that IP address and selecting a specific connection protocol to get it to work. Despite the difficult setup, the reviewer emphasizes that once it is finally configured, the printer works flawlessly. For anyone willing to tackle a bit of a technical challenge, the performance makes the initial headache worthwhile.
To get things started, let's hear from our first reviewer.
This reviewer, a highly experienced client support specialist, found the installation process for this printer to be surprisingly confusing and outdated. While the machine itself seems to be of decent quality, and our reviewer has found the brand's products to be reliable in the past, the network setup proved to be a significant challenge that detracted from the overall experience. This client felt the entire process was a throwback to a much earlier era of technology, noting that other manufacturers typically offer a more streamlined and user-friendly setup. The journey to get the printer connected to the network was a bit of a headache. The included installation disk was immediately obsolete, forcing our reviewer to hunt for the correct drivers online. Once downloaded, the driver package wasn't straightforward. It required navigating through a confusing series of folders to locate the necessary network setting tool. The most reliable method for connecting to Wi-Fi ended up being the WPS push-button option, which involved physically interacting with both the printer and the router to establish a connection. This client notes that the provided instructions did little to clarify this process for an average user. What was most frustrating was the failure of the seemingly easier setup method. The intention is to connect the printer to a computer with the included USB cable to configure the wireless settings, a thoughtful inclusion since many printers no longer come with one. However, after several attempts, the setup software would not recognize the device and even crashed a couple of times. Ultimately, while this printer appears to be a solid piece of hardware, its convoluted and unreliable installation software makes it a difficult recommendation for anyone who isn't comfortable with some technical troubleshooting.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer is sharing their experience with this laser printer. They previously owned a wired version that they were quite happy with, but decided to upgrade to this one for its wireless capabilities. The reviewer notes that this printer is a little larger than their old one, but still a reasonable size. Positive side, this client reports that the printer works wonderfully and maintains a stable Wi-Fi connection after the initial setup. A feature they particularly appreciate is the automatic double-sided printing, which their previous printer lacked. They also find that the printer responds quickly to print commands, and based on their prior experience, the toner lasts a remarkably long time, even with frequent label printing. They mention they only have to change the toner about once a year. However, the setup process was a bit of a headache. Despite being tech-savvy and using a Mac, our reviewer struggled to find the correct drivers on the website. The provided instructions were unhelpful, and it took some digging to locate a useful guide online. It eventually took roughly 20 minutes to get everything installed and configured for wireless use. They believe using the included CD on a PC would have been a smoother experience. Another concern is that the print quality isn't as dark as their old printer, and after swapping cartridges, the reviewer confirmed that this X's original toner wasn't quite up to par with aftermarket options. Finally, they mention a minor annoyance. The printer always pulls from the multi-purpose tray when something is loaded there, regardless of the documentation stating it should use the bottom tray first, making the dual tray system somewhat pointless.
That's it for this one. If you found this helpful, tap that like button and subscribe for more. Got thoughts? Questions? Let's talk in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.